And welcome to the IRT Network, ladies and gentlemen. Quarterfinal number 3 underway here. We've got a great matchup today. Javier Mar, countryman of Mexico, taking on one of USA's greatest, most distinguished players of all time, Rocky Carson, former US Open champion. On the call will be Scott McClellan. And joining you live, it's going to be Kelly Diesel Filler. Charlie Pratt's joining us right now as he gets hair and makeup finished up here. And I am Brian Pineda. What a show we've had so far. Today we've started off with four-time U.S. Open champion Sudsy Monchik taking on one of Mexico's greatest champions, Alvaro Beltran. Beltran able to close it out in 4. And then we were just privied to a great Mexico national champions matchup. Alex Landa, Daniel De La Rosa going the distance of 5, with Landa making his first semifinal here at the U.S. Open. What a story. Now we find ourselves with another one of Mexico's greatest champions, Javier Mar, rising star in the junior rankings, now coming into the professional scene, playing for Splathead and Pro Kenix. Rocky Carson, arguably the most distinguished player of all time, on the national, world, and professional and amateur junior levels. Playing now in his 22nd year of professional competing. Charlie Pratt, how do you see this one going?
I see Rocky winning this in 3 for a number of reasons. One, his experience in general, his experience on this court, which he's played as many matches on this court as anyone besides Kane. So that's a huge factor. He's also played more matches on this court in this tournament than Javier has. Javier has only played 1 match, and it was doubles. Rocky has played both of his singles matches on this court, so he has that as well. And, Rocky just has a tendency to, in this type of situation, to really pick apart an opponent like Javier. As talented as he may be, this is where Rocky really thrives, in my opinion. Against a younger, unexperienced player. And you can already see just Javier, not in his game yet. It's only a few rallies in, but at this court, it happened to me yesterday. I went 6 straight points, losing 6 straight points to Daniel, and just not feeling comfortable out there, mishitting and can't track the ball down. And it takes a little while to get adjusted. And, that's an advantage Daniel had, as he played more matches on that court than I did. I didn't play any, and Daniel had already played 1. Same thing with that, missed shot there by Javier, nice and high. And, Rocky is so dangerous, too. If he gets out to a comfortable lead, and 3-0 is not that comfortable yet, but if he can establish himself early, he's a very mental player. He's mentally strong, but he's also, if he gets out to a bad start, he has a tendency to, get frustrated and a little overstressed. And I think he manages that pretty well. But if you let him get comfortable early, you're done for.
No doubt about it.
And that's what Javier's doing. Javier has yet to hit really any good shots or get any confidence going. And Rocky is already bombing drive serves and hitting great splats and really hasn't missed a beat. Another easy shot, another easy rally for Rocky. He's up 5-0. This is a little more comfortable now.
5-0.
Prediction holding strong, but as you can see, Rocky Carson number 2 in the world, Javier Mar number 23. I think that's, aside from Sudsy, actually. We've got a lot of lower ranked players in the quarterfinals here. Sudsy was basically the last seed in this draw. Number 37 or something.
Heard that.
Early timeout.
Early timeout, but it's 6-0. You got to do that at that point. We'll take a quick break. Come back for the action here in game 1.
And welcome back to the IRT Network. Brian Pineda, Charlie Pratt, Kelly Diesel, fill her up on the air with you. Don't know where we got that sound bit, Kelly, but we're going to keep it.
I enjoy it.
The sound that ProKenix racket made right there was absolutely fantastic, coming off the frame of Javier Mar, current Mexican national champion.
I love that name, Javier.
Javier. Yeah, a good shot from him. Glad he's in the box at least, and maybe a little more confidence. Rocky back in the box now. 6-0.
I like the way he lumbers around, but then when he's in a racquetball rally, he's playing like super fluid.
Is this Rocky you're talking about?
Talking about the Olympic weightlifter DLR.
DLR?
Oh, that's Javier Mar.
Pineda's still in that last match, apparently, and it was a good one, but still no excuses for that.
So,
both from Mexico, both ProKenix, so I guess I could see how you get them mixed up. Javier, yes, wow, what a serve. That is what he's capable of. I've played Javier before, one time, the Pan Am Championships, and he jumped out to a huge lead, just hitting incredible shots. I wouldn't put him in the fit category. I would put him in the
Olympic weightlifting category.
Just very strong, very capable of making plays, and if he can maintain that for a few games, he's dangerous. That's what happened in my match. I was fortunate enough to come back and win in a tiebreaker, but the first game and a half, I was really just, it was all him. It was all Javier. Rocky with the setup in the front. 2 bounces called. Rocky looking comfortable. A lot of people have said Rocky has a knee issue. He hurt it a little bit in Los Angeles a few weeks
I don't
ago.
believe it's a knee injury. I think it's a groin. But
Groin?
I'm sure maybe he's either eluded people or people are guessing it's a knee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a groin pull. I thought the same thing, but then I heard knee earlier as well.
Right.
In Canoga, he had the physical therapist there working on his knee.
Great deception. It's really going the distance right there.
It's a good thing. If people are watching, like have him work on the shoulder or something.
Right. Big toe. That's a big one.
The crack ace. You do not see that very often from Rocky, but he is really bringing out the gauntlet.
You know what I love here
Great serves.
is this is the Rocky Carson, circa #1 player in the world, sponsored by Motorola, #1 indoor-outdoor singles, doubles, world national champion, Pan-American champion. This is this guy right here, where he's coming out with sheer authority. He's being more offensive and more on his game plan. His first serving percentage is high. This is the killer Rocky we like to see.
Yes.
The Rocky Carson horror show.
Well, he really comes to play, especially in this setting. If these two played on a back court somewhere, I could see this match going a little differently. But like I said, Rocky's experience on this, he does not let this court bother him or change his game style. And you can't say that with a lot of players.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it changes you a little bit. The lights, the court.
Speaking of lights, let's look at how Javier got to this point in the tournament. He had a bye in the round of 128. In the round of 64, he took on Kyle Uleman, and he won that one in 3 straight as he qualified as the number 7 qualifier. He then had to come in and face off against Samuel Murray, who is no easy task, one of Canada's best, if not best player right now.
Yeah,
he gets through Samuel Murray in 3 convincing, 11-6, 11-2, 11-3.
That is very convincing.
And then he takes on a guy who's really put in the work, young, bright star, playing for Colombia, Mario Mercado. And he's able to win that one in 3 pretty well-contested games, 12-10, 11-5, 11-9. So that's how he secured him spot in the U.S. Open quarterfinals.
You know, you could say it's a pretty good draw for him, a very winnable draw. You know, coming in as a 23 seed. We talked about that with Sudsy, too. You know, part of the reason why he was here is he had none of the matches were easy. Maybe his first round was a little on the easy side, but after that,
couple donuts, I believe, if I saw that one okay.
Probably, but not easy matches, but all winnable. And you know, as the last seed in the draw, or one of the last seeds, you know, he could have easily played into Kane, or you know, even Rocky or Alvaro, and it could have been a completely different tournament.
Right.
Javier in the same position as a 23 seed. He just kind of lined up with some very winnable matches. Easily could have lost early as well. I mean, Sam Murray's an amazing player. I'm surprised he beat him so handily.
Right, yeah, that's kind of weird. These courts play a little different, in my opinion, as well, from maybe what we've been used to so far on the International Racquetball Tour. They're a little bit faster. They spring as the ball plays off this court. So that might have played a little something into it.
Yeah, cement courts, you're totally right. Power player, definitely an advantage. You know, we really didn't see too many finesse players making it far. I mean, Daniel you could consider a finesse player, Alvaro as well, but they're some of the best players in the world. But you look at the other players, Londa, power player, Sudsy, power player, Javier, and then Conrado Moscoso, who is from Bolivia, is playing Kane next. That guy throttles the ball.
Oh, my gosh.
One of the best shot makers. You had a little taste of that this morning in the open doubles. That's
right. We had to go there, didn't we?
Conrado Moscoso in the quarterfinals of the pro singles is also playing open doubles and hacking around with people like Pineda.
Hacking.
Careful with the use of the word hack.
It's okay for me to call you a hack, but not sponsors. They are clearly not hacks.
Yeah, you look at the round of 16, we're talking rifle selection, 2017. Kane Waslenchuk, Jake Bredenbeck, Conrado
Moscoso.
Him too. Sudsy Monchik.
Good shot there by Javier.
Beltran obviously can crank on it. DLR can crank on it. Pratt's been known to put a few MPHs on there, but I consider you more of a control player.
Thank you.
Londa's a power player. Fernando Rios is a control player. Mercado's a power player. Mara, power player. Cunha, power player.
Well, you know,
Rocky
at this
control.
level, everybody hits it. You kind of have to be a power player. You look at all the greatest of all time, they were all power players. I mean,
Charlie Brimfield.
Yeah, not necessarily. That game.
Dr. Bud.
Game different game back then. As our
Andy Roberts, I wouldn't really describe him as a power player, even though he could hit it with power.
Even though he was 240 pounds.
He was a linebacker. He could move people around. It was hard to get around him. I thought that was more, his footwork is actually what I think made him so good. He maximized his potential.
Yeah, I mean, no knock at Andy. Andy was maybe not in the greatest of all time category, but definitely up there. He's former number one.
He's one of the few players that maximized on their potential, though.
Definitely. It's a good way of looking at Andy. But, you know, regardless, if you're at the top, you can crank it.
Of course.
And usually you want to. And Alvaro is kind of one of those. And even Daniel, they are some of select few that have made, you know, control part of their game. Menino is one of them. Menino is kind of the – and then, you know, if you go back to Mike Yellen, that's kind of what made the rivalry between him and Marty, who was the original power player, Marty Hogan.
Right.
The original guy, you know, even with those small rackets, who developed a powerful game introduce new shots to the game based on his strength. And then, you know, Sudsy coming into the picture, reinventing the backhand splat. And a lot of that came with the technology, the rackets changing.
Right. And I was just getting back to your point, too, as far as power, making it through the straw in here and whatnot. And there's a good amount in the 16s that are control players. You got Perea, you've got Jansen. I don't really consider him a power player. Control and fitness for sure.
Definitely not.
Yourself, you're a control player. I put you on that teeter-totter side. Fernando Rios. And you look through, and really the only control players, or at least that's the way they play their smoothness. You've got Rocky, who's a control player, and you've got Beltran. That's about it. I think DLR is that perfect hybrid of both. But the rest of them just rifle the ball. Sudsy, Moscoso, Waslinchuk, De La Rosa, and Mar.
Ooh,
and Landa, of
missing
course.
that one. Good job from Javier. You know, he's kept Rocky at 8 points for quite some time now.
Yeah, this draw is going to play out the way it's going. If Carson gets through this, control player against power player, Alex Landa in the semis.
Great serve from Rocky. He's been serving well all day so far. That drive serve to the left, that must...
You know, you mentioned how long he's been stuck on 8, and what's he do?
Yep. That's right when I mentioned that.
That's
Whether Kane or Moscoso make it through, control against power again. Beltran against winner of Kane and Moscoso.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a good mix-up for sure. Between the legs, Rocky with the setup forehand. He's just too good at those, though. You know that one's going to be buried.
I'm amazed at his size, Javier's size, for how quick he is to go to the floor.
Yeah. 10-4 game point for Rocky Carson. He's looking smooth and in control.
Is Javier in the shape that you guys think DLR needs to get to?
No, I think Javier is a skip ball called on the serve. An appeal is made. This one will be an interesting one. It's kind of hard to see. But we're going to run it back and see what McClellan sees here. All right, we're coming up on the drive serve. Great. We can probably just play it there. Coming back, and here is the shot.
Did you see it?
One more time.
Okay, we're going to run it back again. Let Scott take a look at this in slow motion.
One look wonder is back.
Should be interesting. Okay,
Let's see
we're
Rocky's
back.
reaction here. It's always the best.
Back to the live feed. I'm not sure. Here, Rocky. You know, I personally didn't think it skipped, but Rocky doing Blanton's job. I'm sure Rob's not happy about that.
No.
Like, hey, you do your job, I'll do mine.
That's right.
4-10 for Javier. Kelly, that was a good question to answer it. That ball looked... And Rocky has no appeal anymore, so he cannot appeal that.
We have two linesmen over there, and I think on that side it's Justice Benson.
So we're going to put the blame on him.
That's right.
But, you know, this could get dangerous for Rocky. He's a couple, you know, bad calls. You could say bad calls. There it was with the fight, the chest flex.
You better believe
looking for
it.
the chest flex this week, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Still, all things considered, even though it's not the way Rocky liked that call going, I like where his mental fortitude is right now. It's game one. But still,
Great
look at that.
serve.
The serve is great. The backhand's on.
Rocky with an interesting choice there. He comes
That's
up.
suspect.
Wow. Great read.
Wow.
Great get. That's incredible. And Javier up top. Rocky with the setup backhand. Javier unable to track that down. Game 1 goes to Rocky. 11-5. Good action here in our third quarterfinal of the day. Thanks for tuning in. Stick around. We'll be back for Game 2 on the IRT Network.
You better believe it. And welcome back to the live coverage of the U.S. Open, brought to you by United Healthcare. It's being broadcasted for you, the fans, on the IRT Network. Brian Pineda having the time of my life here, hanging out with one of racquetball's greatest and most honest personalities ever the sport has seen, Charlie Pratt. We're checking out some metaphors, and we're just having a great time here.
Shout out to Wayne Antone. Wayne, love you, buddy. He's watching in and enjoying every minute of this, I'm sure. And he has been taking down some of the Pineda lines. So if
Wayne,
we forget some of them, Wayne he's on it.
Wayne,
That's
Anytime
right.
there's a zinger from Pineda, Wayne writes it down on the spot.
Wayne, I want you to know you're a very average pool player.
Oh.
Extremely average.
Yikes.
Well, you guys were taking shots. I figured, why not?
Why not? Throw it out there.
I like it. Good zinger.
Kelly, to answer your question about earlier, I still haven't gotten to that, but is Mar in the shape that you'd like to see Daniel in? I personally think Daniel is in better shape than Mar. Now Mar is bigger and stronger, looks solid, but it's a big body, and it really doesn't help to be tall like he is and big. I mean, if you look at Rocky's tall, but he is very lean.
Right.
And if Rocky had 20 pounds of whatever, muscle or fat, he'd be he wouldn't move around nearly as well. And that's kind of where Mar is. And conditioning wise, that's an extra 15 pounds that he's got to carry around for an entire tournament, and that wears on you, or an entire match. He's also young, and it's rare to see young players in really great shape. That takes some time to learn, same with Daniel, he'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
But rarely, only in the greats, guys like Kane, Sudsy. I don't think Sudsy was necessarily in great shape, but he was like Kane. He finished matches. He was powerful. He was explosive, and that's good shape. Just right there, not in like Rocky Carson shape where you can go 5 games and not even sweat. But the kind of shape that wins you points, games, and matches, tournaments.
Right.
Oh.
Great serve
Cup check.
from Rocky.
And not saying Jake Bredenbeck, not saying he doesn't move well at all. He's a great, fantastic racquetball player.
You should see him in battle as a Viking. It's incredible.
But like you were saying, he's maybe just an inch or two below Rocky's height. But it's got to be a lot harder for him to maneuver around the court because of all that muscle that he has.
Exactly. It plays to the advantage as far as cranking out drive serves and forehands. Wow, what a shot. Just controlled rally from Rocky. Right off the serve, perfect serve. Surprised Javier even got a racket on that. But, yeah, you're right. It's a fine line. It's kind of this certain certain size and weight thing.
Yeah.
Most of the greatest players of all time have been thick, you could say, muscular, not really like lean.
Right.
You look at, I'll start with Marty
Sorry.
Hogan. Pineda keeps elbowing me. Wants me to
You're
mention
talking my
his-
category right
his
now.
physique. Yes, we can put you up there with the greats. Why not? Just if it'll make you be quiet for a second.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your tangent of 10 minutes. My bad.
Marty
My bad.
Hogan, a very big, strong player. I know you want to keep bringing up Charlie Brumfield, so we can. Now, Charlie was a little bit more on the lanky side. He was taller. He was kind of like Rocky in that way. But, if Charlie was with his height, if he also had size on him, he probably wouldn't have, he needed to be a little more lean.
Right.
Now, the shorter you are, I think the stronger and thicker you need to be. That's kind of what we see. You look at guys like Ellis and Sudsy, Menino, Cliff. They're on the shorter end. Same with Kane, but they were all thick and strong.
Yep. Brian Anchetta says it. Mar is of the Chris Crowther mold. I could see that a lot, actually.
Definitely. But I think Mar could work on his, conditioning, his stamina, his cardio, basically, and get in better cardio shape and be able to move and dive and get shots like that, set his feet quicker. Now, who knows? I mean, he's doing well. Look at this rally, though. Skip ball, but that's where if he was maybe just a slightly faster, he gets to that ball and he puts it away.
Right.
Instead of barely skipping it, but he'll get there. I think, if he's smart enough, he'll realize all of that. I'm sure he has plenty of coaches telling him the same thing.
Right.
Take a page out of Rocky's book and just train like a maniac. That guy, I don't know, Brian, you've probably heard plenty of things. You're from California.
We hear a lot out there.
But, the way Rocky trains, he's, and you can see it, he surfs. He's big into surfing, which is no easy sport, that's for sure. And then, he played basketball growing up, too. He was an amazing basketball player. Could have played in college.
Rocky has always been an athlete, hands down, known him for a long time, and he got away with that. And then he really studied the art of Brian Hawks, and he'll tell you this like he told me.
Yep.
I thought I knew what in shape was, and then I trained with Brian Hawks for a day. And then and really the science, I'm sure Fran was a big part of it as well, but the science and the wisdom behind the player we see today, without a doubt, hands down, has everything to do with inspiration from Brian Hawks, and Rocky will tell you that.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing from Rocky, so that's good to bring it up, and that comes with the experience, and sometimes you need experiences like that, even if it's just one day of training where you get pushed to your max, pushed farther than you imagine, or you see somebody that you idolize doing a workout twice as hard, twice as long as you, and you realize what I'm doing is not enough.
Right.
And Rocky probably realized that, or I can push myself so much more. Here's a guy who's doing it every day. And, you get that with time.
And I think to aid your point as well, it comes down to, like we were talking about Javi, is it something that fits your game style? There's the shooters out there, and this not saying Rocky's not, but he realizes what his gift was, and his gift was, I'm an athlete. I might not have the talent maybe per se that a Beltran, a Sudsy, Ellie, Kane, what have you, have the natural shooting ability, that kind of a mind, but I have the mind for discipline. So therefore, if that's my gift, let me maximize on my gift. I'm going to put the hard work in because the other guys aren't willing, majority of the guys aren't willing to do that, and that'll be the cape of my success. Anyways, we'll take a short break in the action. We'll let Pratt catch his breath here, and we'll be right back.
With United Healthcare, you can get rewarded for all kinds of things, like walking.
Hey, honey.
Dad, where's the car?
Thought we walk.
It's counting steps.
Walk, move, and earn money.
Goal!
Dad!
Hey, we want to welcome everyone to the father-daughter dance. Look at his dad, he's got to move.
Money you can use on out-of-pocket medical expenses. United Healthcare.
Sut.
And welcome back to the action.
5-0.
We have 5-0 game number 2. Rocky Carson very much in control of this match. But I've got to say, first-time quarterfinalist here, Javier Mar. He looks good. It's just Rocky Carson that's stepping his level up right now.
Well, Rocky's in his comfort zone here. I mean, no one besides Kane, well, you know, the veterans, and you play a young, inexperienced player. Well, inexperienced, relatively speaking, for Javier. He's never made it to the quarters of the U.S. Open. I don't think he's made it to the quarters of
Not
any
this
IRT.
Javier. Mm-mm.
No, that's right. But, you know, Rocky is just playing off of his experience right here and just playing his game, and look at that, you know.
That's incredible. It's a great shot.
And Rocky always shows up. Wow, did he really just get that? Look at this.
No
No way, that did not just happen. Let's cue that up on the instant replay.
Oh, my Lanta.
Every shot was, wow.
That's crafty.
First you thought the rally was over, and then Javier got the ball off the back wall. Then you thought Rocky would put it away. Then you thought Javier would, and then Rocky did.
And Javier's got to be
You want me to
thinking,
slow
I'm
that down
doing
for you?
everything right. I am hustling, and he's getting shots like that. He's getting rewarded for my hustle.
Pretty much. I mean, you can start to see the sweat on Javier.
There we
That's
go.
a great get. That is a great get. Bring in the towel.
And this is what Javi's got to say to him. Every rally, if I'm not on the floor finishing shots, then my tournament's over. That's how well Rocky's playing. And that's such a high demand when you're playing at this level, to say, I've got to finish shots on the floor.
Rocky with the overhead. Skip ball there. You do not see that happen very often.
Nope.
135.
Two bounces there. Rocky catching a break on that crack.
Mm-hmm.
5-1.
So after this match, we will have Kane Waslinchuk and Conrado Moscoso. So do not go anywhere when this is done. That'll be an exciting match. Some fireworks for sure. I mean, Kane obviously playing the best ball in the world right now, but Conrado is an exciting player to watch, and you just never know. He can hit some amazing shots.
He has put some serious mileage on his body this weekend, though. He's been in the qualifier of the men's doubles, qualifier of the men's singles, in the open doubles, made it to the main draw of the the pro singles, made it to the main draw of the pro doubles. Some of those matches going breaker, like it's...
Look at Rocky just working
It's a big
this
task for him
cross-court
coming up.
pass over and over again, and finally finishes one. About 4 or 5 cross courts in a row. We're probably going to need the towel for this. Bring in Blanton.
Send in the tournament MVP. Can we take one of the pieces' glasses off so he can fit? All right. While we have this short break, we definitely want to welcome you all to look at the membership production of eNet Live, or as we like to call it, the IRT Network. We have U.S. Open specials you definitely want to check out. I would highly recommend the Lifetime one. It's a one-time payment, good chunk, but you think about it, you never have to worry about payment again. And at this event, you get a trip paid for the 2018 U.S. Open. Your flight's paid for, 2 comped entry fees. You get to buy Pratt and I a steak dinner. Well, Pratt will take a salad. You'll get a one-person invitational to the Sudsy Monchik Cliff Swing Camp. You get a rack of your choice from Gearbox, Pro Kenix, or Head. A $500 Visa card. So that in itself pays for your membership. And then, if that wasn't enough, You're going to get a hug from Pratt. We're going to throw it in there. So definitely check that out. And if you don't want to go the full 500, we get it. We've also made some special U.S. Open prices for you, whether you're doing 3 months, 6 months, 1 month. I just highly recommend the lifetime. We want you guys for life. You mean the world to us, so please get that membership.
So that's for the, you said lifetime membership?
That's right, $500. You get, and then if all that stuff's, it's all that's going to go to one grand prize winner. So you get 5 tickets. Is also what that lifetime membership gets you.
Okay, so all those
for a chance for all those prizes.
Okay, all those things you listed off was
for a chance to win. So only one winner for that.
But they get all of that?
Right.
Wow. What an experience.
Right.
And that's that's thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's basically a little lottery, and you also even if you don't win all those things, you get to watch a network for a lifetime.
Right. You think you win that, you figure it's $4.99 for a lifetime. You win, you get that $500 Visa card. Well, you have that $500. You're wondering where to go. Now you can use that $500 to pay for whatever you needed that $500 before.
And you don't have to pay for the plane ticket because you're getting flown out there.
All right. And let's say you don't win. That's $500 for a lifetime. It's like $100 a year. So you're paying 5 years really in advance for a lifetime. The talent's only getting better. We're not going anywhere. And the quality, the customer service, everything's getting better. And on top of that, you get access to the archives. Mind you, we're playing in an era of the greatest men's professional singles player of all time.
Good rally there. But you're right about that, Pineda. I mean, that's history.
Yeah.
That is history. And people kill for matches these days, of Sudsy and Cliff, and you got to buy the DVDs and everything. Well, this is a lot more recent, but soon these matches will be, just as sought after as any of the other ones. Great serve from Javier. Rocky back in the rally with the forehand skip. What in the world happened there?
Marcel Estep asks, can you guys see how many people that have signed up already? We'll get you that number. And I understand why it's a good question. You want to see just what your chances lie in that drawing. Fair question. Javier with the shirt change. Uh-oh.
Rocky with the plum. Pineda, you got to stop letting me use that.
My dude, I've been doing it for so many years now. I got to
so many years.
I got to let you have it.
The plums for so many years.
What did you say earlier? The plums are plentiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. In L.A., Pineda had me in stitches.
Not me.
He said, I don't remember who was playing, but he said, this person is a plethora of plums in the front court. I think it was Kane.
Probably. He gets definitely the plethora of the plums.
He is, yeah.
We're going to call him the perpetual plum tree because they're just ripe for the picking every time for him.
All right, Rocky Carson calling for the towel. Even though he doesn't sweat. That's interesting.
You know what? You've got to work it. Fake it till you make it.
Maybe just needed a little break. Not like he's tired, but, it's a nice momentum change.
John Thorson says, give a shout-out to Chicago Cubs. I'll only do that for Rizzo. He's a standout athlete in the MLB, so shout-out to the Chicago Cubs.
Shout-out to Rizzo. You don't need to include the Cubs.
Thank you. I feel better about that, actually.
Cardinals fan over here.
Sorry to hear that.
Yep.
Any other players still juicing, or is that left with Mark McGuire? Is that a?
Nope, just Mark.
Okay, just Mark.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's only him and the other. I'm just gonna stop there. I'm gonna get a letter from the MLB or something.
You better stop it.
Good shot from Rocky.
Jim Douglas says Rocky just knows that Blant needs more exercise. Look at that waistline. That's a tough one, guys.
Low blow, Jim. But even we haven't gone that far. And
we were thinking it, but you had to say it. That makes you the a-hole, okay? Just so we're clear.
Maybe he didn't know we were going to announce that on air. That's okay.
It's a public forum.
That's the risk you run, buddy.
That's right.
And you know, Blanton goes back and watches these matches. He studies himself, you know, picks up on cues from when he's, you know, a little slow getting into the court or, you know, critiquing himself.
Right.
Rocky at 9-3 here. Great serve. Foot fault. All right. Forgot about that rule.
It's a great one. Pratt, here's a good question for you. Jesse Guiron. I'm just going to pretend you're French. Jesse Guiron wants to know, who do you think is the greatest RB coach thus far?
379.
I'd say the new head coach of the juniors team, huh?
Oh, from downtown.
That's why it was so hard for me to just have to exclude myself for a minute. I'm trying to think, you know, and I'm not even thinking like most people I think are going to say, okay, Winterton, Fran are the top two picks, you could say.
973.
It's hard to argue against that. They're definitely the most known and probably have the most, the most extensive resume.
Oh, my goodness. Just set the whole tray down. Those are my favorite.
We are being delivered chocolate-covered strawberries.
This
right
is
now.
calorie-free? Calorie-free? Perfect. All right, I'm going to just take one of each. I don't like to discriminate.
There's
You're the best. Thank
also
you so much.
two different kinds of chocolate,
Got them both.
mind you.
Like to
So,
thank our main girl, Deja.
Deja, on it with form because. So here's a little knowledge I'm going to drop on maybe the not so knowledgeable. Think about this lineup. Lynn Adams, Rocky Carson, Brian Hawks, Bill Sell. Okay. What do they all have in common? Their coach. Who is their coach? Tick tock, tick tock, tick. Time's up. R.O. Carson.
You know, that's a good choice. You know, yeah, wow, that's great.
So you got to throw his name in the hat.
You know,
He's
you
definitely in
could
that
also
category.
say, you could also say Russ Menino.
We're going to get that right.
So as we were saying, you know, coaches, I'm trying to think of, you know, you could even go international. You could even say someone like Javier Moreno Sr. You know, Pineda is destroying
We're going to cut
strawberry.
Pineda's mic on that one.
Yeah, let's remove the microphone away from your mouth, Pineda.
It's just too good. That's what it is.
Still haven't finished the coach question. Extremely distracted.
I want people to know how good that
Still
is.
here. I'm turning you back down, Pineda. Although I'm starting to pick it up in my mic now.
It's gone. It's gone.
That's what you think.
So before we even go international, how about also the obvious? Thinking about the most recent. This is an easy one. I'm going to tee it up for you. John Ellis,
Oh, yeah. Dave
Jose
Ellis.
Serrano, Bobby Horn,
Yep.
Jose Rojas, Nene. That's Jose
Wow.
Serrano, actually.
What a shot by Javier.
You've got, we're forgetting about a guy who kind of cut it out in juniors. Ishmael Aldana. We got to throw Jose Diaz in there as well.
Yeah, basically anyone and everyone who was in Stockton has Dave Ellis to thank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we think of coaches as far as, you know, the top-level players. And in that case, you really do have to look at Jim and Fran as being the top two. But if you look at just overall talent that has come out of some, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I mentioned Javier Moreno Sr. I mean, he coached his son into being one of the greatest Mexican players of all time. He has coached the Mexican team for probably close to 30 years.
Here's another one to throw in there. Now bear with me. Who's the coach of the following? Marty Hogan.
Wow, great kill shot.
Wait for it. Emmett Coe. Brian Pineda.
Charlie Brumfield.
You nailed it.
Well, Charlie played against Marty. How is he his coach?
You'd
like
be
later
surprised.
on?
You've got to get the history down, Pratt.
So Charlie Brumfield
would invite him to San Diego. And once he saw the writing on the wall, which is his exact words, he started working on them. Marty will be honest about that, too.
Game 2 goes to Rocky Carson. Great playing from Rocky so far. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and chat up more about coaches or just see how this third game plays out. Thanks for staying tuned. We'll be back soon.
There are no shortcuts to the top. Do you have what it takes? Desire is something within you and only you. For when the ground falls from your feet, will you be the one to rise up? It's a long road to the top, but that's just what it takes to become pro.
So welcome back to the IRT Network. We're having a great conversation about coaching. That couldn't come at a better time. Thank you.
Would love to hear what some other people maybe in the chat box or on Facebook would have to say about that.
And we haven't even gotten to Mexico, who really, they are dominating the market. Now, granted, we've got places like Bolivia that are coming up, and that's great, but you got to think about since the insurgent have come in from Mexico, it's got to start with Beltran and Javier, which I believe is Javier's dad, and a lot of other Mexican coaches. Before we get to, let's talk about the U.S.
What a get. Good shot there.
Think about college, Pratt. Who's probably one of the most successful. If you just go with men's coaches, you got to think about
Dr.
CSU.
Krinsky. Yep.
That's right.
You know, I would love to put Dr. Krinsky in the coaching category. I went to that school, and Krinsky was, not so much a coach like an instructional coach or tell you how to play the game. He was just more of, he
knew how to assemble a team.
Yeah, well, he was just so well involved in the university that he could really, I don't want to say work that system, but he had a lot of great connections, and he used those connections to better his racquetball team.
That's right.
And to get international players, guys from Mexico and other countries, a lot of players from Mexico, who are looking for an education here in the States. He was able to get them there and to have them attend college in the U.S. for next to no money at all, which is, so as far as instruction goes, I don't think he really ever told us anything. He recruits great players. What is he? He's not going to step on their toes and try to change their games. He just brings them all together, and it's basically 4 years of incredible racquetball, and it's up to the players. You guys go out, you guys do the training, but now you have all this talent surrounding you.
Right.
When I went to school there, Mitch Williams went there, Ben Croft, Gil De Los Rios.
God, what a team.
I know, just those four, and myself. I played number 4.
I was going to say, that's a tough number 4, number 3, and number 2 gold right there.
Yeah.
And Ben obviously won it very tough for himself as well, but I'm just saying, when you think about depth of a team, you usually don't plan on seeing guys who are familiar with making the 16s at a professional event in your number 2, 3, and 4 spot.
And then once, and even our 5 and 6 were great players. And not only that, but a lot of the players from years past stuck around in Colorado. They got jobs there, and so we had 10 open and pro level players almost at all times that were traveling around to tournaments, and that ball goes out of the court. Later on, as Mitch left and Ben left, Tony Carson and myself were battling for the number 1 spot.
Tony Jamal.
He was like our designated number 6.
Now it's Brad Chopre.
Yep. The list goes on. It has not gotten any weaker over the years. Although you got to give credit to, I think Baldwin Wallace took the men's title this year. Wow, what a shot by Rocky. He's going to get that. Look at that flick. Gets back into position, jumps. The ball cracks out a little bit. Great rally.
For some reason, I can't think of him, but, every coach brings a different skill set that makes their team good or makes their players good. We saw Krinsky's with his ability to ease the financial side of college for players so they could focus on what they had to do. We look at Fran Davis, who cornered the market on recognizing talent and learning how her skills to help them increase their talent and optimize it with Paola, Sudsy, Jason, all those players, Rocky. And then you look at players, and I can't think of him, but he's out of the great state of Missouri. He's currently on the USA board. And pardon me for getting his name, but he is a guy who's taken a city like St. Louis where over 300 schools, high schools, participate on a regular basis with racquetball.
Is that Dan Whitley you're talking about?
There he is. That's the guy. So he has a proven system of being able to bring young kids into racquetball. So that's where his value is in coaching.
I grew up in Oregon, and I could name another 10 people who, maybe they don't qualify for the best coaches of all time, but, same thing as far as introducing juniors to racquetball and creating champions right off the bat. Growing the game, introducing the game to youth, extremely important. To fully answer your question, I would have to say that Jim Winterton would be at the top of my list because he is the most experienced, and even Fran would probably tell you that. He's older than Fran. I think Fran even worked under him, or he learned a lot from him. And he's just over the years as far as his work with the USA team, and he also coached the Mexican team. So, total experience, and he's also coaching Kane, who's the greatest player of all time. Now, how much does Jim have to do with Kane's success? A portion, for sure. But even Jim would probably be pretty humble in saying that Kane is just an amazing athlete, and, Jim is there to help. And Rocky going down in this game, though, 4-2.
And I'm sorry for cutting off from the match. I hope you guys have been enjoying, but also answering questions in the chat box. Last thing I'll say about coaching, too, is I would throw into the hat, just based on players that are currently still playing because of their junior experience, I would throw Kelly Bean in there. Think about it. All the players she's worked with. We're talking about Janelle Tissinger, Michelle Key, Danielle Key, Charlie Pratt, Ben Croft, Mitch Williams, the Walter brothers, if they were in that section.
I'm not sure. Yeah, basically
Taylor Knopf,
U.S. team members.
Right, but she has helped perpetuate. They didn't just die out in juniors, right? They're still playing today because she taught them about the love of the game. At least that's how I translate it.
Well, she's a great motivator. As far as getting you, as far as the enthusiasm, or just giving it everything you have,
Mhm.
you know, and the passion for the game and the passion for competing at the highest level and being the best you can be.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Kelly brought to the table.
Anyways, that was a great question. We kind of tangented off, and I definitely want to get back to this match because right now Javier Mar, the number 23 seed here out of Mexico, their national champion, is up 4-2. Rocky Carson serving right now.
You know, Rocky has been super solid. Look
Splat
at that,
pass.
the splat pass. The splash, is that what you said?
Splash.
There's a splash. I like the splat pass. Sounds better. Phonetically, it sounds
dive.
better.
It made it. Oh, good shot by Javier. Great redirect. Great rally. Rocky with the dang it.
And
That's
the
right.
fans appreciate that.
Do you even flex, bro?
Sun's
Blanton
out.
coming in.
Wow.
Sun's out, guns out.
You better believe it.
Wow, that is a large mop, too. You know, Blanton covers half the court in about 5 seconds. That's great. Good
Jeez,
for him.
man.
Large mop for a large man.
You better believe it.
Beast.
I just looked at the mop handle, and it's actually got his grip in the wood.
Indented. Squeezed it into it. Set up for Rocky. That's what we call a plum.
You just love plum, don't you?
He does.
I thought you'd be saying more of it.
I mean,
He's all plumbed out.
you're on it right now.
He's plumbed out.
We don't stop here on the IRT.
Nope.
If you need to take a plum break, I'm happy to pick up where you left off. I know you'll be back to Plum City.
You better believe it. Charlie loves to get plumed.
Yeah, plumed. That's okay, Wayne. It's a double M.
You know what?
It's all right.
There's no spelling contest in racquetball, Wayne. We know what you meant.
Plumed.
Just because I care, what technically is plumed? Nothing. I got nothing for you guys.
Joel Barshaw chiming in.
Joel, what's going up faster, your heart rate or your weight? We'll keep it right here. We haven't done it in a second, but we definitely want to thank our sponsors out there. You know, we have a lot of great people that are working with us. We have ProCanix obviously, who host and hoist our usual IRT ProCanix finals. They deliver a great product. Go to procanix.com. We also want to thank the official merchandiser of the Racquetball Tour, which would be Racquetball Warehouse. And they do a great job. Ben Croft over there has really helped to be a partner of the tour as well, and he's a great guy to do business with over there on that end. Recently moved to Atlanta, I believe. Also want to thank Pro Pen for the HD balls that we're using this weekend. Nothing better for your balls than HD. Pro Pen. And, of course, the official apparel of our tour. We want to thank John Clay over at Racquetball Warehouse.
Hang on a second.
Racquetball, rollout racquetball. Hang on.
That's what we're here for, Panades.
Just diarrhea of the mouth there. My bad, guys. Rollout racquetball. Thank you, John Clay, for all you do for the sports and its players.
Yeah, John Clay, an essential part of the growth of racquetball. Also sponsoring Rocky Carson. Javier Mar with the backhand overhead. It's not a good one, though. Rocky with the forehand setup. He goes cross court. He'll have an easy backhand. Goes down the line and kill shot. Great shot from Rocky. He is back in the lead at 6-4 now.
And he's rolling, too.
He is. He's rolling. It was down 4-2, back up to 6-4. Nice, comfortable lead.
We talked about that earlier. The top four, their innate ability of being able to stop their opponent's score and just start tacking on the points to theirs. Shot that's been working for Javier Mar comes up short, and even the hand on the hip pout right there. He's wondering himself how. ¿Por qué?
And he took the timeout, so this is not the start he wanted.
You better believe it.
Back to the coaching.
Yeah, that looked like a blistering perfect serve. McClellan on the call with the short. Super close, so it can go either way. We're going to cue that up.
Here it is for you.
Nope. It's not that one. Next one.
Next one coming up.
United Healthcare is proud to sponsor the U.S. Open Racquetball Championships and provide access to quality, affordable
Here it is.
care.
All right, here we go, folks. It's up on the main screen, looking like HD perfect vision here. One look wonder. And Brad, I think I might take my good call away. I think it was short.
So I want to just give a shout out real quick. Back to the coaching. I definitely have to shout out to Cliff Swain. I'm sorry I didn't mention him earlier. Cliff has helped me with my game tremendously. I guess when we thought about coaching, Cliff is very new to coaching. As far as the resume goes, he's sort of still building his. But in the short term, he's obviously going to be one of the best. I just haven't separated Cliff from his greatest of all time racquetball player status to greatest of all time coaching status. And as far, Jim has 40 years of coaching experience, and
that's like a coach's coach. Cliff will essentially be a player's coach.
Yeah, pretty much.
And technically, I'd say that's probably outside of Brumfield. That's going to be our first real modern day, player's coach.
There's no doubt that Cliff Swain is going to be good for people's games. Just in his experience alone, he's the best player to ever coach. And when you have someone with that experience who's played on this stage and won in won 70-something matches, you don't think he can teach you how to win.
You better believe it.
Personally, he helped me big time with my major weakness, which was my forehand. Instead of, he cut right to the chase. Like, we need to work on your forehand. As soon as my forehand, was fixed a little bit, drive serve started coming in more hot, power came back, my game jumped up another level just from a few sessions of working with him on stroke mechanics.
Wow.
How did he get that?
Yeah.
He just...
Tour day.
Running him around, yep. Rocky almost wanted him to chase after that ball.
I think we might get our first strand of sweat off of Carson from that rally. That was intense. Javier trying to mimic all those diving saves. Came up just a bit short on that last one.
How much do you think Rocky charges for a tour day court? Average cost? Just a point? Okay.
Say $3.99.
Ooh, there it is. Richard Al, one of the great voices of the crowd, has joined the platform. The squatter for the winner. I like it. Nine serving 4, and this is looking all but over here.
This will be the first if it goes the way it's looking. This will be the first match of the day that ends in 3 games. Sudsy and Beltran.
Hashtag just a replay.
Hashtag wish I could hear it. Didn't see it. Up next here on the stadium court, per request of Boscher here, we're going to have Conrado Moscoso taking on Kane Waslinchuk, world great of all time, #1 here on the professional tour. Kane Waslinchuk taking on quite possibly the best player with contention from the Keller brothers to come out of Bolivia, Conrado Moscoso. Almost.
Good effort from Rocky, though, at 9-4 in the third. He wants to finish these 2 points. Get out of here. Rocky is not playing doubles in this event, which I can only imagine is because of, the groin or knee thing.
Big toe. That one's for the big toe. Yeah.
Whatever's going on, I can only imagine that's why. It definitely puts more strain, playing 2 events. It's hard not to, though. It's
great
a
get.
fun event. There's more money. There's good money in it.
Another great get from Mar.
That ball was called skip, and I think he's going to appeal. I think Rocky maybe just mishit it.
He's already used the appeal, I believe, on the serve.
Okay, that's right, and it was short. That's right. 69 on the scoreboard. Rocky needs to be careful here. Try not to lose his cool too much.
Right, he's only 2 points away. There's no need in wasting this anger and emotion on Scott. Get these 2 points and move on.
Great get. Rocky's got a plum in the front court, and he puts it away.
That was a nice plume job right there.
Plume.
Javier Mar just got plumed. Thank you, Wayne Antone.
The average pool player.
Ooh, the digs just
the most
keep coming.
average pool player of all time, Wayne Antone.
I think he wasn't too bad at pool, but shuffleboard.
Below average.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta have the touch.
Kelly Diesel, fill her up. You don't want any. You don't want nanya and shuffleboard.
Drive serve goes
nice
jam. He's got a set up forehand in the backcourt, ropes it cross court. This one's going pinch for sure. Who called it? Fight.
Flex. God, I love it.
We got to all do that.
Oh, we do. For those of you unfamiliar with the chest flex of Rocky Carson.
You know that
we have match point here, Panades. Before
we have
you
match
get on a
point
tangent,
right here.
Before you get on a tangent. Great drive serve. Another set up forehand for Rocky. He doesn't miss too many of those, but he goes for the splash.
Another pinch.
Backhand cross court.
Box himself out. Oh,
Great
he's on it.
Look at this rally from Rocky. Now a big setup, and he rolls it out.
And he knew.
Look at that rally to finish.
He's a true champion, folks. And I got to say, I tip my hat to Javier Mar.
Totally.
He played an excellent match, never gave up one time. You can tell he wants to win.
He left it all out there, including his pocket.
That's it. He's going half bunny on me right now.
But great tournament for Javier, and he was up a big challenge against Rocky, one of the greatest to play this game, especially on this court. The 4th quarterfinal is coming up next, so take a nice little breather, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. We're having a great time here at the 22nd U.S. Open Racquetball Championships here in Minneapolis. Kane Waslinchuk, Conrado Moscoso coming up next. See you
on the
soon.
IRT Network.